Hi, I'm home-based travel business expert Dean Marino. Now, you may know a little bit about me. When I got into the travel business about 8-9 years ago from when I did doing this video, I was able to replace my six-figure annual income my first 9 months in the industry. And I had no experience, never been involved in network marketing before, never really worked in the travel industry before. Prior to that, I had spent 22 years in the auto finance industry. Well, if you just hear that part, you might think, well, yeah, everything he touched turned to gold. It all just went swimmingly well. But let me tell you the real story of when I started in the travel industry and some of the things that just went terribly wrong. And maybe you've encountered some of the same types of things, maybe a little bit differently, but I kind of enjoy sharing this with people because when people start a business, everything's not going to go exactly the way that they penciled it out on that piece of paper. So let me first tell you that I was really kind of a real newcomer to even really working online. So a couple of the things that I needed to do, I needed to upgrade my computer, found a laptop that I wanted, and I remember trying to go to Best Buy, and they were out of it, and they searched the stores, and I must have gone from store to store to store. I think I must have got hit like 6 different Best Buys before finally I found one like about the 6th store was maybe 20 miles away from where I live or 25 miles away from where I live, and okay, so now I secured it. Now, the next step was that at that point, I still had dial-up service, and I realized that I needed something faster. So I made arrangements to get DSL hooked up, and they shipped a box, and I got everything hooked up, and then they were going to turn it on a certain day. And they told me, okay, on this day, we're going to switch it on, so have it all hooked up. They went to switch it on from the office, and on that day, no longer... Well, not only did I not have DSL, I no longer had wired phone service. It like blew out something. Now they came out to the building. They came out and whatever, I don't know, on the side of the building there, and got everything all hooked up the way it was, and it worked for a while. And I'm not quite sure exactly what happened, but it went out again. Now the second time when the DSL went out, I was already working my business at this point. I'm making phone calls. I've got appointments. I'm, trying to get people to my website and things like that. It's kind of in my first few weeks. And as I'm doing that now, we had like some really horrible weather here in Los Angeles. A lot of rain. A hillside nearby that had come down on the road. Make a long story short, when I needed the telephone company to come out and they needed to come inside and check the wiring inside, they were dealing with all kinds of catastrophes. They had entire neighborhoods that didn't have phone service, and they had poles that were down and wires that were down. So it took 10 days to get my DSL service back up. During those 10 days, I couldn't check my email. I couldn't do anything. Again, my wired phone service was down as well, so I couldn't even get on with the dial-up. During that time, I was making phone calls with my cell phone, and for those of you that remember, if you go back that far, they didn't have unlimited calling on cell phones, so that cost a pretty penny to make my phone calls at home from a cell phone. And in order to check my email, which was how my leads were coming in and how I could see people who had visited my website, I had to run back and forth to a place called FedEx Kinko's and pay, I think back then it was like 15 cents a minute to use their computers to check my email and kind of jot that information down, and then I'd go back home and I'd make the phone calls. Not exactly the way that you would generally want to start out with a business. Now, in addition to that, I was making phone calls because that's really the only method I was taught. Again, I was a newbie. I didn't know about video marketing. There wasn't any video marketing back then. I didn't really know any other marketing methods. And so I did what I was told. I bought lists of leads. I sat down with the scripts. I got on the phone. I made phone calls, and I was doing that every day. And quite a bit every day, about 8 hours a day, pretty solid, of making phone calls. I had quit my job, for those of you that don't know that, so I really needed to start making money right away because I didn't have any checks that were still coming in, so it was really imperative. After about 3.5 weeks into this process of being on the phone for 8, 9 hours a day, I started working Saturdays and making phone calls Saturday morning as well because I wasn't getting anywhere. But after 3.5 weeks, not only did I not have any sales, but I also didn't really have any solid prospects. I hadn't even talked to anybody that said, well, you know, when we get paid on Friday, then we're going to join, or we're waiting for this, and when this happens, and I didn't even have any of that. 3.5 weeks in, no money, no sales, no prospects, and literally working like a dog. Now, for those of you making phone calls these days using calling systems, when you have to dial them one at a time, it takes a lot longer. These days, I've got members that are using calling systems and probably can do what it took me about 8, 9 hours to do in maybe about 2.5 to 3 hours. But back then, it was really time consuming. Well, over the next few days, I would say over the next 3 or 4 days, before that third week or the fourth week was up, I generated my first 2 sales. A few days after that, that was, by the way, 2 sales, about $4,000 in income. Another sale that was like another $3,200 after that. So then now money was rolling. But, you know, it didn't go all that swimmingly well at the beginning. So hopefully this can help a lot of you where maybe you kind of get off on the wrong foot, get off to a bad start, and things don't look like it's really going to go well. I've been doing this now for 8, 9 years. Like I said, replaced my 6-figure annual income my very first year. It keeps getting better and better because the travel industry and network marketing keeps getting bigger and bigger. And also, I've expanded and using different marketing methods that I've learned, and I teach those methods to my members as well. So the bottom line is, if you've experienced adversity, welcome to the club. I've been there. Hey, my name is Dean Marino. I'm the home-based travel business expert, and I invite you to personally speak with me before making any kind of a move in the entire home-based business arena. Again, my name is Dean Marino, and I'm here to help.